All right, not only are we waiting to hear cabinet announcements and who's going to complete what, but we're also trying to get an idea of what a President-elect Trump will try to do in the first 100 days. To former presidential candidate, money maestro genius Steve Forbes. Steve, you've been wanting to see, we talked about this before, tax cuts in that agenda early on. I get mixed reads, depending on with whom I talk, in the Trump campaign about whether it will be. I think they miss an opportunity if they don't do that right away. But what do you think?
Oh, they have to go big right away because there's so many special interests in Washington that if you try to do this piecemeal, Neil, you're going to get eaten alive, and you're not going to get much done.
And it drags out. And when you're changing the tax code and you need a Senate vote of 6, you know how it goes. I mean,
so go big at the beginning. Maybe you bargain it down, but go big, go personal and business as well. Make your statements to the American people, your addresses to the American people. They're for it. That's what Reagan did. Go over their heads, and you create a climate where you can get big things done. But if you negotiate with yourself, you've lost before you've even started.
Now, apparently the logic for this, and I'll leave it at that, we'll get on some other things, Steve, is that they think they have a better chance of getting business tax cuts through, substantial though they will be, but not individual rates. And I would think the two are joined at the hip, aren't they?
They are, and politically it would be a loser, especially Donald Trump, the great outsider coming in, wanting to drain the swamp. The first thing he does is business tax cuts instead of individuals. You can do both, and Reagan got both done in his first year in office, and Trump should do the same. Again, don't think small. He's got a mandate. Build that mandate and get the capital to do other things.
Do you think that his own business interest and ties, and they're quite entangled, could get in the way of this? That, in other words, if he doesn't separate himself from that, and he's given hints that he might not, that people will always look at whatever he comes up with as, aha, this benefits this business, or this benefits this transaction, or this casino, or this hotel. You know what I'm saying? Does he have to separate those out to avoid that kind of scrutiny?
You can do some separation, but no matter what he does, short of selling the thing, which in the real estate world would be a disaster, you take such a disastrous haircut, that they're going to find something to hit you with. So no matter what he does, it's going to be wrong in the eyes of his critics. But what he could do is he could have one of his kids be in charge of it. He's going to find, I think, pretty soon, if he hasn't felt it already, that trying to run a business and the country at the same time, not going to work. I don't care what the lawyers say. There's only so much a human being can do. So I think he'll try to find a modus operandi where one of the kids runs the thing. He'll have a key. He'll follow it keenly. But I think he'll minimize the ability of the other side to hit him on it.
But how can it work that way? The reason why I ask is that in the past, maybe with FDR coming in, he could say, well, this is all my mother's wealth, and it could be separated that way. Even then, it was dicey. John Kennedy saying it was his father's wealth. But obviously, you talk to your mom, you talk to your dad. Can a family really separate that? In other words, if he gave the business to the kids or to Ivanka, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean there's total separation, right?
No, there is no total separation, because anything you do as president, especially this man who's got stuff all around the world, is going to get entangled. And so what you want to do is try to do it as best you can. And two, if you go with something like tax cuts for individuals as well as businesses, people will then start to give you the benefit of the doubt. This guy's getting big things done. We're not going to listen to these critics. They listen to critics when things are going badly. If he gets things going smoothly and a good way for the economy, then he'll have the capital to not get entangled or tripped up by the fact that he can't separate himself as president from things that he has around the world, not to mention inside the U.S.
I do know, too, that the mainstream media will pay less attention to a wealthy Democratic president than a wealthy Republican one. I could be wrong. But I suspect that will play. Now, do you think then that what you're seeing of the cabinet choices, real quick, it's an interesting sort of, some have likened it to a team of rivals, you know, sort of compendium here. How do you see it?
Oh, I think it's so far it's been very interesting and positive. One, he recognizes he is the boss, no matter who is in the cabinet, even more than when Lincoln put his rivals in the cabinet. And number two, I think it demonstrates that he wants to get unity in the party for the fights ahead. But he will set the policy, and I think it just takes the temperature down. The critics are going to be carping, as you know, in the media and elsewhere. But most of the country is going to say, hey, this guy wants to put together a good team. People who've criticized him were against him. And if they can unify, boy, that's good. We need more unity, not bickering.
All right, thank you very much, Steve Forbes. I believe in the course of talking to Steve, we were showing the Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. Of course, that's defunct and no longer associated with Mr. Trump anyway. But how he handles those businesses in relationship to what he does on some of these other initiatives, getting a great deal of scrutiny. In the meantime, tomorrow, as you probably heard, is Thanksgiving. And some of you have commented, Neil, we know you had heart surgery earlier this year, so we hope you're taking it lightly and not eating too much. Of course, that's a given. But I should point out here that it's just one day. Look at all I've been through. Would it really hurt if I had extra stuffing? Because I'm now going to go into the control room and get my producers for digging up these pictures to make me feel guilty. And yes, a hospital gown does add 15 pounds. More after this.